Welcome back to Matt the Groundhopper channel, and today we are talking Sussex football clubs and who are the top 10. So I would like to welcome back Lee again to episode 5 of Chewing the Fat. Lee from the Football League Adventures, and I shall put up a link to his channel now. Make sure you check out Lee's channel because he travels all around Sussex, which is what today's video is all about, and around England and the UK, don't you? So including league and non-league as well, don't you, Lee? So
Yes, yeah, league and non-league, yeah,
yeah, good
yeah,
stuff. But today's subject is Sussex football clubs, and obviously you're based in Sussex. I'm based in
yep,
just over the boundary or the border, so I do venture into Sussex quite a bit. But done a similar video last week, top 10 clubs in Kent. Got a lot of comments, lots of sort of debate whether we were. I had Tom on the video last week, and some
yeah,
people agreed, some people disagreed. So I thought I'll tap into your knowledge this week because you are obviously
yeah,
based
yeah.
in Sussex. We're going to do the top 10 Sussex football clubs. Okay. I'm sure one and two are going to be obvious, but we'll run through them anyway. So I've got my list. You've got your list. I don't know what you've got.
Yeah.
You don't know what I've got on mine.
No,
So we'll start with number one. We'll go from 1 to 10, because there's not really much a surprise at number one.
yeah,
Number one is
my beloved Brighton.
your beloved and Hove.
That is Brighton and Hove Albion.
I don't
Yes,
know. Yeah. Brighton and Hove Albion. Obviously, I've got them down as my number one as well. Um,
yeah,
what I'll
same
say
here.
about Brighton, obviously, and I'll say no, let us know what you think. I
Hmm.
think Brighton as a football club, obviously they lost when they lost Goldstone Ground, 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah,
So they shared at Gillingham for a couple of seasons at
yeah,
Priestfield.
yeah,
Um, and that was at the with them, wasn't they? The Athletic Stadium for a few
yeah,
years. And as a model for a football club, they were languishing in the lower leagues for many years. I think they've done nothing short of a miracle, really. If I'm being honest. I don't know what you
yeah,
feel being a fan of Brighton, but that's an outsider looking in. I mean, Brighton, incredible, really, what they're doing.
yeah. I mean, from where they were to, nearly being relegated and going out of business to losing the ground and then going to the Withdean when they had to put that sort of makeshift stand up that when it was windy or raining, you felt it wobble.
Did you go to the
It-
Wembley much?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and you really felt it move. So that was always quite a fun experience.
yeah.
But it was never a ground that was going to be big enough for them. That was a sort of a makeshift stopgap till we got where we are now.
It took a long time, didn't it, for them to get planning permission? Didn't it go to Secretary of State for them to sign? I think John Prescott at the time had to sign off. It just took a long time for that ground to be approved for planning before they could even start laying bricks and building
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, but so onwards and upwards, and they've completely fulfilled their ambition, and I think they're top four at the moment. They will be early in the season, but
Uh, yeah, I think we out 2 games. I think we're sitting second or third. I think at the minute.
they're competing. They seem to compete, every season since they've been in the Premier League.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that was an obvious one, Brighton. So number
Obvious.
two,
Yeah.
who you got for number two?
I've got Crawley.
Obviously,
I
so
think I
Crawley, because there's no
think
other
the top two are going to be exactly. I think the top two are going to be pretty obvious.
Crawley recently promoted to League One. Been a broad view a couple of times actually. Once with the channel. I know you've been there a few times for your channel, haven't
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
I mean, getting promoted last season for the playoffs was nothing short of a miracle because they were favourites to get relegated. Because the season
yeah.
before, I was there at Hartlepool, away to Hartlepool, when they
Right.
to win. They beat Hartlepool to stay up, and they almost pretty much inevitably relegated Hartlepool down to the National League. And then the following season, they went up via the playoffs. So it's I mean, that's pretty outstanding, really. So for Crawley, so
Yeah, I think it comes down to Scotland as well.
yeah,
The job he's done there, and to lose near enough his whole winning squad, apart from two players, and then brings all these new players in. And to be fair, they're doing pretty well at the moment. Doing really well.
Scott Lindsay was touted for the Gillingham job back in November of last year, about a year ago, and in the end they gave it to Stephen Clements.
Yeah,
And he was interviewed a couple of times, I'm understood to believe, and in the end they went for Stephen Clements. And part of me thinks, because at the time I think we were 6th or 7th in League Two, and if we would have employed Scott Lindsay as the manager, look, you never know, but we probably could have got promoted last season.
yeah.
But anyway, so Crawley number 2, they're the 2 easy
Yeah.
things. Okay, so number 3, this starts getting me interested now. So you got number 3.
Now, there is a reason behind why I've got number 3, and it's quite a recent reason, and I love the ground as well.
Okay.
And I've got Lewes as number 3.
I had a funny feeling you put Lewes high up on the list. I mean, I know the top of the league at the moment. Playing 5-1-5 in the Isthmian Premier. Okay, so what's your reason for Lewes, apart from the love of the club and the ground? What's your reason for Lewes?
So the love of the club and the ground, and also I have just signed on as one of many owners of the club.
Okay.
What Lewes do, which I think is quite good, is they are kind of a fan-run club.
Yeah.
And I've just put my name forward and put money towards each month being an owner for Lewes.
Do you need to declare an interest on this number 3? Being a part.
Yeah, it's a slight interest.
So I've been to Lewes myself. End of last season, obviously famous for their pie and mash. Great little ground. Really like Lewes. It's a great. I always speak very highly of Lewes. The ground was. That's how normally ground should be. It's just a great. It's a great ground with lots of character. And if you don't know the ground, you've got like a grade 2 list of stone wall with a high path where you can stand. You've got a low path opposite the main stand. Yeah. And you've got sort of terrace in one covered behind goal, where you've got all the sort of facilities, and the other side's open terrace where the away fans mainly stand. But yeah, Lewes is a great shout. I haven't got them as number 3, mind you.
Okay.
My number 3 I've got down as Eastbourne Borough.
Oh, okay.
Purely because of their level, sustained level. I went to Eastbourne in December when they played Yeovil. They lost to Yeovil because Yeovil were promoted ultimately. But talking to some of the fans, Eastbourne, they are actually where they are this season. I don't know, but last season I was told that they were a professional outfit.
Yeah,
professional team. They weren't semi-pro at all. And the owners of Eastbourne have got big plans to get them up for the pyramid, like most clubs do have. But they seem, for me, the fans were very surprised they were in that low position. They couldn't understand why they're so low. They did survive in the end, but I've got Eastbourne as number 3.
Okay.
So what's your number 4 then?
So my number 4 is Worthing.
Yeah, I've got the same, Worthing.
Yeah. I think just what Worthing have done is a big feat for the club and the town. I'm only probably 15 minutes away from Worthing, from where I live, and I went to Worthing last season for the semi-final.
I was there. We met up
where we met for the first time in person.
Yeah.
And it was just it's a nice little again, another nice non-league ground.
Yeah. I did like Worthing's ground.
Yeah, it's really nice, and they've built onto it this season as well. So where you were standing for the first half, down there now they've got sort of a proper stand where you can actually stand. So it's all covered and.
So okay. So just for the clarification, so I was standing in the corner opposite the main stand, on the corner next to that sort of terrace, which was for the home fans. It was all open terrace back then, but you say there's a roof there now. Has it been covered?
They've got an actual a proper stand. That's why they played so many away games so far this season.
Okay,
it's not fully finished yet.
Yeah, I think for me, Worthing is if I had to draw from scratch a non-league football ground that I'd love to visit, Worthing would be it.
Yeah.
Said this really nice prominent main stand amongst houses. The ground's right in the middle of a housing estate, which I actually love. And
Yeah.
people looking out their window, they can watch the game out their bedroom windows at certain angles. And you've got this terrace behind both goals and around the length of the pitch, part roof, part open. I just think it was just a great day out. And big occasion. They beat Maidstone in that semi-final, scored right at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, I think as well, Worthing's a little bit Brighton light in the fact that there's a lot of Brighton fans wearing Brighton shirts at Worthing.
Yeah.
So I presume they're Brighton fans, but they follow Worthing. That's maybe why they had a really, really decent crowd. Maybe a bit like Gillingham and Chatham Town. There are a lot of Gills fans that follow Chatham Town. So I presume it's the same with Brighton and Worthing, just due to geographical closeness. But yeah, it's okay. Worthing. So I agree with that. Worthing, I think that's a good call for Worthing for fourth. And they're trying to get themselves, up into the National League, and
They are. Yeah.
I think they could sustain it. There's a decent ground there, and
Yeah.
fan base. But
Absolutely.
okay, number 5. Who've you got at number 5?
I've got Horsham.
Okay.
That's really.
What's that? Why have you got Horsham?
I've got Horsham. So just sort of watching them from last season to the beginning of this season. Obviously, they had their cup run in the FA Cup.
Yep.
Which sort of brought a fair chunk of money into the club. I can't remember where they finished in the end last season, but I know this season they started with a cup win, which was like their version of the Community Shield. They beat Stenning, and that was played at the Amex. And then they just they're sitting 7th in the league at the moment, and they've just had a really good start to the season.
They're in the East, aren't they, Horsham? They're in the South East, aren't they? Yeah. Horsham.
Yeah.
I've not been to Horsham. Have you been to Horsham's ground before?
I haven't yet. It's on the cards to do.
Okay, I've not been to Horsham yet. I probably will tick it off.
Same.
Okay, my number 5 is Hastings. I think Hastings are a little bit of a unpolished diamond. I think they could be much bigger than they are. I think the town's quite big. I lived in Hastings for 9 months about 8 years ago whilst renovating the house. But commute to Kent every day, which is a bit of a nightmare journey. But the town was nice. It's got the old town. I didn't live too far away from the football ground. I never went to it. I still haven't been to it. I'm going to be going to Hastings in a couple of weeks' time because I'm to Chatham Town. But
okay,
I think Hastings it's quite a few chimney pots in Hastings. There's quite a decent sized population, and they get good crowds. They get sort of well over 1,000 every time.
Yeah.
On a big game, they get 1,500 plus. And I'm expecting a big crowd when they play Chatham. So I just think Hastings could be, if they got it right, I think Hastings could move up this list a couple of spots. Maybe challenging it on my list, maybe challenging Eastbourne, personally. I think
okay.
They're a bit of a dark horse for me, Hastings. But yeah, so that's my number 5, okay? So
Okay.
where are you for number 6?
For number 6, I've got Hastings.
Hastings. Anything you want to add on Hastings at all? Or
I haven't been to the ground yet. I've literally a couple of weeks ago came back from a holiday in Hastings and went to Haven.
Yeah.
So like you said, went around the old town, everything like that. But they are on the list to go and see.
Yeah.
But sort of like what you said, they're a dark horse.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see them sort of move up the leagues. That's all. But for me, they are number 6 on the list.
I think Hastings could quite easily hold their own in National League South if they get into that division. Just purely on crowd numbers, I mean, if they're getting crowds of 1,500 now, then they could top end of 1,000, nearly 2,000, and anyone getting crowds that sort of numbers in the National League South, budget wise, they're going to do quite well unless a rich person comes into another club. But if you're looking at crowd numbers, they'd have a decent budget as opposed to some of the other teams who I think are a bit smaller. certainly crowd sizes anyway. But okay, so my number 6. I've not been there before, but I know you have been there twice. Bognor Regis.
Oh, okay.
I don't know much about it. I think they've got a decent ground. I've seen your videos. They've got decent ground. I've had a look at the ground a few times. It's quite a long way for me to go, but I might go down at some point. They get half decent crowds down there, right on the coast. So it's quite a big catchment area for them. Yeah, what do you think? Well, I know you've been there a couple of times. What do you think of Bognor, Regis Town?
I mean, yeah, Bognor for me is 45 minutes away on the train. Uh, the, the town's all right. It's not a bad town. The ground itself is only a 15-minute walk from the train station.
Yeah.
It's like Lewes. I love the ground, the way it is, the atmosphere you get down there with the fans. Yeah, it's definitely, if you've got it to tick off, definitely worth ticking off.
Yeah, it's helpful when the football ground's near a train station. Well, it's just a 5-10 minute walk. It means you can just easily get there, and it's an easy trip, isn't it? Like that, but okay. So that's So what's your number 7?
So my number 7 is Bognor.
Bognor. Okay, so we're not far off the same there. Yeah, as I say, I will. They're doing well. If look, I wouldn't say I'm a glory hunter, but if they're doing well, I'll get down and watch them.
Yeah.
In the top of the day. or it's the last game, survival game, and they need to win. Provide stop getting relegated. I'll probably go there as well to see the reaction of the crowd. But yeah, I'll say I will go to Bognor at some point. It's just a bit further down the list at the moment. But
yeah.
Okay, number 8. What's your number 8? It's getting tricky now. So
at number 8, I've got Eastbourne.
wow, that's really low down, right?
Yeah.
But Ben, they are in the National League South.
Yeah. I went and saw them near the end of last season.
Yeah.
I can't remember the game for the life of me. But they were fighting to survive.
Yep.
And the game they played, they won 3-0. So that kind of helped them stay up with the games that they had left. They went on and won the rest. But I was watching them, and I was talking to one of the fans as well. From this fan, there wasn't much positive coming out of it. I don't know whether that's just because they were having a bad season and the fans were a bit low. But what I saw, they had good moments. But I think they will be in the National League South for a while.
You think so? Yeah. Yeah.
I think, I think it's going to be a good maybe 2, 3, 4 years before they're sort of moving up.
Yeah, I mean the game I see them at home, they lost to Yeovil, but Yeovil were flying to the league, and obviously they ultimately won it in the end. And I did see them away. They played. I see them play Dartford away at Dartford near the end of the season, and they beat Dartford and they relegated Dartford as a result of it. And they pretty much secured their survival on that day. There were quite a few Eastbourne fans at Dartford because it was a real crunch game. And ultimately Dartford got relegated. But yeah, so I thought I'd say, yeah, it's a club. I mean, we were talking about Eastbourne Borough. There is an Eastbourne Town, isn't there? Which is much down. Eastbourne Borough. Yeah, so I'm surprised. I mean, my Eastbourne's 3rd, and you got it as 8th. That's why it's interesting. I'm surprised by that. Fair enough. It's your call on that one. My number 8, I've got Horsham, which you had as number 5. Again, as I said, not been to Horsham. It's not been on my radar, if I'm being honest. It might be a game I might pick up if there's a train strike on. I don't know what to do, and there's always good to have a few local games for the channel, ground hopping. And I might go to Horsham if they're playing one of the bigger teams at home at some point, but it's not on the radar for me just yet. But probably at some point, I will probably do every single ground in the South East for the channel.
Yeah.
But that's Horsham. Okay, number 9. What you got as number 9?
Number 9, I've got Whitehawk.
Okay. They're based in Brighton. Are they Brighton based, aren't they? Whitehawk?
They are. Yeah.
Actually in Brighton, are they?
They're
Whitehawk.
actually, yeah, they're in Brighton. They're probably from the Amex. They're not far at all. They're probably about 10, 15 minutes away.
And have you been to the ground, Whitehawk?
I haven't yet. No, that's I was going to go near the end of last season, but games I wanted to go to got in the way of going to Whitehawk. So Whitehawk is on this season to do.
Yeah. What sort of crowds are
Uh,
they at Whitehawk, do you know?
I think they get over 1,500, 2,000.
As much as that, a Whitehawk? Seriously?
Yeah. I mean, on uh, Monday, Bank Holiday Monday, just gone, they were playing Lewes.
Yeah.
They didn't have a massive crowd Monday, but they were the most noisy.
Yeah.
You could hear the Whitehawk fans, top of their voice. They were out cheering Lewes fans. Yeah.
That was the game you went to, wasn't it? Lewes Whitehawk.
That's the game I went to. Yeah, they won. Lewes
Chris
got a goal
Whelpdale.
in the 90th.
Yeah, didn't Chris Whelpdale score for Whitehawk, didn't he?
Yeah.
Who's an ex-Lewes player and an ex-Gillingham player as well. So
Okay.
when I watched Lewes in April, he was there playing for Lewes, you know, and I just noticed that.
Yeah.
So, okay, my number 9, I've got Littlehampton.
Okay.
Capacity 4,000, which I was quite surprised about. Have you been to Littlehampton before?
No.
It's
And
not.
I don't live far.
It's quite close to. It's quite close to Bognor, isn't it? Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah. So there's another one for you to do on the south coast at some point.
Yeah, there is a few for me to do.
Yeah. So Littlehampton, I mean, crowd wise, they don't get the biggest crowds in that division. They've got decent size ground. I mean, look, I'm struggling, if I'm being honest. On 9 and 10, it's literally I could draw straws. Because it's what I'm surprised about is when I've done the Kent. I know a lot more about Kent football than I do Sussex football, especially at this level. But there's a lot more bigger clubs in Kent with bigger fan bases as opposed to Sussex. So you've got this huge, massive club, number 1 Brighton, and all the other clubs, number 2 Crawley is much smaller, and then really the other non-league clubs are a lot smaller. And you get down to 7, 8, 9, and 10. They really are quite small clubs compared to the Kent equivalent. But then, you know, is Gillingham bigger than Brighton? I don't know. They're about the same, aren't they? So one day,
a few divisions apart.
One day we'll be there. Don't trust me. So that's my number 9 is like Littlehampton, and yours is Whitehawk. So what's your number 10, Lee? So
my number 10 is Burgess Hill.
That's the same as mine. There we go. Burgess Hill is number 10. Yeah, it was because I'm thinking who's bigger, Burgess Hill or Haywards Heath? But a little bit of research, and I thought Burgess Hill probably bigger than Haywards Heath.
Yeah.
They recently they're in the southeastern league, and I think they've only been a couple of years. I think they come up. We won the regional leagues 2-3 years ago, but yeah. So we got both number 10. I mean, it's a tough list, isn't it? It's a tough list.
It is tough.
I'd say after about I'd say after about 7, I'm struggling a little bit. So
I mean, putting Eastbourne at number 8, was a bit of a risk. But it was tough after 7. It was really tough trying to rack my brains on who goes where.
I can't help think you got like your bit like Tom last week when he put Dover in at 3rd, and I was like, really? I think the heartstrings on both of you have been pulled a little bit. I'm completely keeping it level, and and I think you've both been influenced a little bit through your love of a club. I'm surprised. In Lewis's defence, as I said before, I think Lewes have started well this season, but it's still very early. I still think Sheffield Town will win that division, by the way. So I've said it here on camera today in August. Lewes could be, they could quite easily sustain National League South. You know, I mean, there was I think the National League for one season a few years ago. I think did they make the National
Yeah,
League one season?
yeah, then got it.
I swear they was up there for one season. Obviously, comment if you're a Lewes fan and you know better than what I do and Lee does. But I swear they was in the National League for a season. They went straight back down again. But I think the
Yeah.
setup, Lewes, I think they could be a better, club in a higher position than what they are now. But as I've always said, and you know the score, the non-league pyramid system is brutal. It really is. It's very easy to get relegated, but trying to go up, it's very, very hard because you've got several divisions merging into 2 or 1. It's just clubs get stuck for years, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. They get the syndrome that if you don't go up straight away after, you are staying down there
Yeah,
for a while.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, because National League into the North and South National League, 4 go down, only 2 up from each division. You got to win the league or win the playoffs. It's like tough, you know.
and the playoff system in the National League South is horrible.
Yeah, because they've
Because
quarterfinals, semi-finals, and a final, don't they? Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I quite like that because there's no Wembley final, but the team that finishes the higher up basically plays at home. So if you finish second, you're always going to play all your games at home, even the final. And I think it's quite fair. It gives advantage to the team that finished higher up in the division, but
yeah,
doesn't always work. But it's just I don't know. When it comes to ticket gate receipts, whether they split it 50-50 between the home and the away team in the playoffs, or does the home team get the bigger revenue because as a reward of finishing higher up in the league? I don't know how that works, but
no, I don't know how they split the gate or how it works to what money they get if they go up or each round they do. No.
yeah, interesting. But apart from that, though, I would say, apart from your crazy Lewes prediction, I think Whitehawk and Hastings, we're there or thereabouts. I think. Yeah. Comment if we've missed a club on it, just leave a comment. I don't think there's any clubs we've missed. I mean, we've got Haywood, we've got Lancing, I think they're about, and they're quite small. Crowborough,
Yeah.
the South East Combination League. So
Yeah.
they're small clubs, but they are about. Well, okay. Well, look, thank you, Lee, for your top 10. Appreciate
Not a problem.
Tapping into your knowledge of Sussex football. Very interesting. Make sure you like and comment. Make sure you check out my ground hopping videos. Make sure you check out Lee's ground hopping videos as well. As I say, at the beginning of the video, I'll leave a sort of a link to your channel. Thank you again for being on my episode 5 of Chewing the Fat. And I will see you on a future episode or a future ground. And
yes, absolutely.
Yep, thank you. And everyone else, thanks for watching. And I'll see you on my next video. Thanks again, and bye for now.
Bye-bye.
There you have it. That is the top 10 Sussex football clubs as provided by myself and Lee. Thanks to Lee for featuring in my latest episode of Chewing the Fat. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like and comment if you haven't already done so. And I'll see you at my next video. Make sure you also check out my ground hopping videos. Thanks again, and bye for now.